Hello, everybody, and welcome to my birthday party stream. Well, I wouldn't really say birthday party, I just say birthday stream. Not really having a party. Although I guess just sitting at my desk staring at the monitor could account for a 40-year-old man's birthday party? No. Nope, I'm not going to count it a party. We're just going to chill out, sit down, and chat. Eventually, I'm going to start saying some stories once we get some more people into the stream. Don't want to just say stories to myself. And if you're watching this on replay, well, you might need to wait a little bit till we actually get some more people in. So, yes, as I already mentioned, I am 40 years old. I think I'm officially middle-aged. Somebody told me that officially middle-aged moves up to 45, but not the way I eat. No, I think 40. I think I'm being generous when I say I hit middle-age with, today with 40. I don't know, maybe 35 was middle age for me. I really need to improve my diet. I mean, drinking coffee this late at night definitely isn't a good idea. Especially since I have work tomorrow. Very early. Oh well. I don't really drink alcohol, so I think coffee's going to be my sin for tonight. And let's see here. I don't really plan on playing a game tonight. I know normally I do a game. The stream says, birthday party bash. I couldn't not put something there, and even though I'm not going to be playing birthday party bash, it's closer than Tides of Numeria. So it's going to be. It's in a weird category. Sorry. It's in such a weird category. I highly doubt anybody would find it if they were just browsing through the homepage. In fact, you know what? Let me check out the homepage. You know what? Let me actually open this. Oh, hey, Pepper T, welcome to the stream. Thank you for joining me for my birthday party stream. I keep saying party. My birthday chat stream. You just want to check to see what's going on in the homepage, and let's go to the sidebar so guys. We actually see, because I highly doubt me having birthday party bash video game on there is going to help me out at all. So I'm just curious where we might be. Let's just go all the way down, as far down as we possibly can. How's your day been, Pepper? I hope things have been going really well for you, and I hope it's not too late for you right now. I'm just waiting for a few more people to show up before I start telling stories. And, oh, hey, thank you for the ice cream cone. Very much appreciated. Hey, welcome to the stream, Amber Jared. Thank you very much. And right now, what I'm doing is I'm just curious to see if my stream pops up on the homepage at all. We got to the very bottom. I presumed I would be at the very bottom since the game I had to choose was Birthday Party Bash, which is the closest I could get to just birthday. I highly doubt they're going to have every DLiver here, even though I scrolled a lot. You know what? Forget that. I'm already getting bored of looking at that. I've been good, and it's only 9 p.m. Well, I'm glad you've been doing well, Pepper. Really, I shouldn't be drinking coffee right now. It's 7 p.m. for me, and I got to wake up at 4:30 for work. Well, okay, I start wrestling with this snooze button at 4:30. I don't actually get out of my house till quarter to 6, half to 6, 5:30. How are you doing today? I've been doing pretty well. We actually had a co-op day at work today, which means I get to work from home because it's so hot right now. In Arizona, it's so boilingly hot. We're like, okay, just stay home, work from home. And I'm like, you know what? That's a birthday present for my job to me, so I'm going to take it. So things have been pretty relaxed so far. And, oh, let me show you what Sylia got me. She saw Cranky Pants put this up on the Discord server and knew that this would be my jam. Warhammer 40,000 Monopoly. Wait, I just noticed the camera's reading that backwards. Why is my camera backwards and I'm just chatting? I think Cranky Pants pointed that out a while ago, that the camera's backwards. I just didn't bother doing anything about it. which I'm going to try to do something about it now. I don't know how to do something about it now. It's not rotate. I'll be upside down. There we go. This might be it. And okay, I hope I don't have to actually like close out my OBS to get this thing working now. Nope, nope, come on, I flipped you. I flipped you. Oh no, oh no. I'm actually transforming the wrong thing. Oh dear. Oh dear. I ruined everything. Nope, that is not what I wanted to do. Okay, I'll figure this out eventually. I'm an expert streamer, by the way. I know what I'm doing. See, I was thinking about what I was going to do for my birthday stream. Oh, that's, yeah. In fact, I'm going to open this on stream once I get this camera working. I want to like see like the little pieces inside and how it's like different than basic Monopoly. Okay, I said I just make cake and put my face in it with my glasses on. I think you should make the cake, Amber, but don't put your face in it until people donate like 1,000 Linos or something like that. So we by January 3rd, I'll get that all planned out. Well, that's a long time for you to plan out baking a cake. I think you have time for it. Let's see, is this it? That is not what I wanted. I don't know if this is actually changing for you ladies in real time. I really hope it's not. There we go. Okay, great. It's working now. So yes, Monopoly. And we're going to open this. Okay, I should have probably brought a knife. There we go. I didn't want to scratch the box. I want to try to keep this in as mint condition as possible. Don't worry, I got a trash can down here. I'm not just dumping stuff on my floor. So, okay, we're going to put that there. Like, well, this is the money. Has a little like Warhammer 40k like skulls on the like servitor skulls on the sides there. Or skull servos, really. Okay. Dump that in there. Well, you get all the different colors. It's pretty much the same print, just a different color. So, yep, got $100 to $500 bills. You know, as a kid, I thought like $500 bills were really a thing. Okay, let's put that here. Hopefully it doesn't get too messed up in there. Now, here's the board. Oh, whoop. Alright, I got it upside down. Okay, so. Well, we got, that looks like a Dark Angel right there. I hope it's not a glare. Okay, yeah, that looks good. Monopoly, 140k. Glory and Fate. I'm trying to remember what was actually there for, okay, those Chance and, what's the other cards? Chance and something else. Oh, it's been so long since I played it. Okay, this is kind of disappointing, though. They have the basic Monopoly go to jail. It's like, that looks like it's straight up from the, like, original Monopoly. And then the same thing, like with the jail cell. Looks the same. Free parking, really? And then, you know, the go, collect 200 salary. That's actually the only disappointing thing I see on this board so far. You could have easily had like an Inquisitor up here. You could have like a drop pod or something for the free parking. Definitely something a little bit more gruesome for the jail thing. Yeah, I mean, if you look at the other tiles, I mean, they've all been Warhammered. You got Ophelia 7 and Hagia, which are actual places in the Warhammer lore. You know, in place of, man, Wilson's... You know, I know this Boardwalk and Park Place, which is Titan and Holy Terror. Holy Terror. Oh. Hold up, I want to fold this properly. There we go. Ooh, okay, I'm missing a lot of stuff in chat. Sorry, ladies. So hopefully, happy birthday. I hope you have been cool. If they made Emperor of the Monopoly dude. Oh, wait. I mean, they totally should have made the Emperor the Monopoly dude. I mean, well, the Monopoly dude is still the Monopoly dude on the rule book. See, I'm still wanting to play the Ultimate Monopoly with all the extra properties. I have not seen the Ultimate Monopoly. I need to look that up in a little bit. But, oh, again, I'm a little bit disappointed. You have the same basic red houses and the big blue houses. And it's just the basic dice. I mean, they could have definitely, like, cheesed this up a little bit to make it look more like like Gothic-style buildings, which fit more in the Warhammer 40,000 universe. Now, this is what I've been really wanting to look at. The pieces. I really want... I don't know why, like, as a kid, it's like I always wanted to play as either the shoe or the iron. I don't know what equivalent we're going to get here. It was in my... Oh, right. Okay, now I do remember. They, somebody did put up in my Discord, Amber. Man, I'm 40 years old. I get forgetful. All right. We got the Space Marine helmet. Is that, that's not Corvix. I forget what model helmet that is. I guess I'm not Warhammer geeky enough to remember that. Then we got, This is definitely a Tyranid. This looks like a Hormigaunt. Yeah, I believe that's a Hormigaunt. Okay, focus. 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 It almost had it. Almost had... Yeah, that's good enough. Let's see what else we got here. This is what I mean. The buildings should have looked like this. Well, this is like a Necron monolith. But, you know, like, this is more Warhammer 40k as far as structures go than those red and blue houses. Come on. Can you focus a little bit more, camera? Come on. Ah, you're an expensive camera. Why are you not focusing? Nah, well, I guess it's best I'm going to get it. Okay, I think it was Cranky that posted it. I don't even know if it was an official board, but I really want to play it. Happy birthday. Thank you. I forgot how to say your name. I'm sorry. Thank you, Shah. I really appreciate it. Welcome to the stream. And, oh, here's like an Eldar. It's not really a unit. It's just a symbol of one of the houses. Just so you know what we're doing right now, Sylia got me to Warhammer 40k Monopoly game, and right now we're looking at all the pieces that come in it. Oh, this is the, yep, mark of the, okay, this is a demon mark. I'm trying to remember what it was. It's not specific to a demon prince. I think it's just a general, like an overall demon mark. And what else do we have here? This looks like, okay, that's not a power sword. It is a Warhammer 40k-ish kind of sword. I think that's a relic blade. It's kind of like sticking in the ground. Come on, focus. Oh, wait, we almost had to focus there for a second. And I think those are all the pieces. It feels like we should have more than that. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, that's 6. No. Oh, and here we got the cards. We got the glory cards, and I assume the fate cards are also in here. So, like, well, here's a picture of the back of one of the cards. Yep. Okay, now it's focusing. This looks like a basic artwork. Like it's really good artwork, but I think it's just pretty much copied and paste from all the various 40K books. I highly doubt they have any new artwork for this stuff. Oh, how am I doing? I'm doing pretty well, Shy. Thanks a lot. Got to work from home, so I didn't have to go out in the blazing heat. Sylia got me, not only did she get me this Monopoly game, she made me shepherd's pie. And if you didn't know, aside from cheesesteak, shepherd's pie is one of my most favorite foods ever. And I'm terrible at making it. She's pretty good at making it. She actually made it last night because she gets home pretty late, and sometimes I'm already in bed by the time she gets home. So she cooked it up middle of the night last night and just kind of stored it in the fridge and just like left me notes around the apartment to let me know that had to be a few notes because I'm not very, my brain isn't all here when I wake up, obviously. I need a few cups of coffee before it's activated. So yeah, I ate a whole bunch of shepherd's pie. Still have a whole bunch of extra. Going to be eating that for the next couple days. So let's see here. Ooh. Okay, this is one of the fate cards. Has like an Eldar, what was it? It's not a, I'm trying to remember, he's not a guard, I think he's a guardian. Okay, and it says fate. Advance to the nearest craft world. Craft world, okay. If unowned, you may buy it from the bank. Why did I have to say the word? I mean, they couldn't even think of something else outside the bank. If owned, pay the owner twice the rental to which they are otherwise entitled. Like, I know you can't really go too gruesome with a Monopoly game when you're Warhammerizing it, but, you could change some of the verbiage. Ooh. Oh, Amber's a big fan of shepherd's pie. A trail of sticky notes. Well, she didn't leave a trail. She just left a few notes where she knew I was going to be, like at my computer, on the fridge. I mean, I would have opened up the fridge door and not noticed a shepherd's pie unless she left a note on the fridge. So we're just gonna nearest craft. Okay, the railroads are the craft worlds. Here, take a. Whoop. Okay, come on. Come on. I can do this. There we go. Yep, the railroad is the craft world. Can you read that? The craft world, Eoden. I know a little bit about the Eldar lore, but I'm not huge into the Eldar because they're cheating pricks. If you ever play an Eldar player, he's cheating. Because he's playing Eldar. They just cheat. It's by their nature. Their rule books let them... Anyway, I don't want to go hate on the Eldar. But I don't know too much on the politics of the Eldar. Just a little bit. And, nope. Trying to put this in as neatly as possible. It's a pie except for pie parts is cheese, mashed potatoes, and meat and stuff. Oh, you never heard of shepherd's pie? Okay, so... Generally, you use lamb, like ground up lamb meat for the shepherd's pie. You could use beef, but traditionally it's lamb. So you get ground beef, you chop a bunch of onions, peppers, bits of carrot, mushrooms, grind it all up, mix it in with the beef, and then you layer mashed potatoes on top of that. And you could put cheese on it. I don't have cheese on my shepherd's pie. Cheese doesn't agree with me. But you could put like a thin layer of cheese on top of that, and pop that in the oven and just let it all like bake up. And it's so good. So let's see if there's anything interesting in the rule book. Well, I don't know like how well you can see that. Like they have a few 40K images, but it doesn't really look like they had fun with the lore. Like I'm reading the back of the rules and okay, like they say like sell outposts and fortifications. I guess that's for like the houses and stuff. But does this look like an outpost or a fortification? Come on. This is what annoys me. Like those houses, they could have done more of that. And then you have the Fate and Glory cards. So yeah. I would love to play this on stream for you. I don't have a proper setup. Like, what I'm thinking of is get a few of you guys on Skype, right? I'll have the camera pointed down at the board on Skype, and then we could play it live on stream. You don't need your cameras on if you don't want to be seen. But we would have to play it in real time, which is why it has to be on Skype. Because I don't want there to be like 15 to 20 second delay every time there's a dice roll, and then I wait to hear what you guys want to do. Let's see, I've only had it with ground beef. Thin layer? Okay, well, apparently Amber likes to slather her shepherd's pie and cheese. The whole thing should be covered. It's like frosting. Well, in my younger years, I might have been able to handle that, Amber. I now need to be careful what I eat. I can't slather all my food and cheese anymore. Oh, to be young again. Amber is a Monopoly pro against her brothers. Skype? Why not Discord? Can we do video on Discord? I never actually tried on Discord. Because the point is, like, we will need to have a video so you could actually see the board. Is Google Hangouts still a thing? I thought Google gave up on Hangouts. I thought they shut that down. Let me check, because I know they shut down a lot of things. I thought Hangouts was one of the things they shut down. Google Hangouts. Nope, it looks like it's still a thing. You know, it was Google Plus. That's what they gave up on. Well, before I even think about, like, you know, what I'm going to use to do the video, Skype, Google, Discord, I'll need to get a good setup, because the camera is going to be hooked up to my PC. I'm going to need it to be hanging over the board, and I need to make it like not look like poop. And then there's also like I need to do the setup for I could stream it on live while I'm doing the thing on Skype, Discord, Hangout, and then try to get you guys in on it. Like, I've seen Angry Joe do it, but he has like 4 or 5 cameras while he's doing it, and he has a really professional setup for it. I need to see other low-tier streamers do board games to see how they do it, so I could get some ideas on how to properly do it. Once I figure that out, I'll definitely put something in Discord to try to get all you guys in on this game. Get 6 players on there. You know what? We won't even need to do only 6. We could do more. I got a whole bunch of Warhammer figures we could just swap in. Let's see, they shut down Google Plus. Not sure about Hangouts. I know Google shut down like hundreds. Well, maybe not 100, over 100, like programs they've been doing. I thought Hangouts was one of them. But that's another reason I'm kind of worried about Stadia. I don't know if you heard about Stadia, their streaming service. You know, don't want to buy a game on there and then have them shut it down a year later, and then, you know, well, there goes your money. So, story time, right? You guys want to hear stories. So, you want to hear scary stories, or you want to hear children's stories? Because I Googled for like short scary stories, but I guess they really emphasize on the short part with these websites where I found it on, because the stories are like a paragraph long. I mean, I can say a whole bunch of them, but, you know, they're really short. So, or I could look for children's stories. It is up to you. I'll try to give it the best voice appropriate to whatever story that I can. Is Google Play Music still okay? Because that's what I use. Good question. I don't know if Google Play Music is good. Let's see. Google Play Music. Be nice if I spelled it right. Connection. Wait. Blah blah blah. There is music shuts down. Begins action artist. YouTube music. It looks like YouTube Music is going to replace Google Music. Yeah, I'm seeing some things about Google or YouTube replacing Google. But if you're using Google Music, it's not you're not going to lose it. It's just getting replaced. Do a short children's story, then a spooky one. Okay, let's Google short children's story. Okay, all right, this looks interesting. The Little Peach Who Spoke Italian. All right, and I'm going to bring this up on the big screen so everyone could check it out. I hope you can see that. And I hope I could properly say that name. All right, well, save your music to a thumb drive just in case, Amber. I think you'll be okay. If they're just switching it to YouTube Music, you should be fine. So, here's the story. The Little Peach Who Spoke Italian. Or is it a boy falls in love with a peach stone, which he carries around Italy on vacation? Okay, is that just a synopsis? Okay, I'm not going to play this. I'm actually going to read it for you. Okay. Tiberius Copernicus loves plants. He loved the way they grew, from very small to big and green. He loved smelling flowers and looking at all the different colors. He loved tasting the ones that were meant to be eaten. Mint leaves had a sharp, sweet taste. Basil was earthy and tasty. Rosemary smelled like remembering. What? Okay, smelled like remembering. He loved lining up the pots in colorful rows and ordering them, from shortest to tallest, from bushiest to slimmest, from hairiest to sleekest. But what Tiberius Copernicus liked best was to collect the seeds of fruit and vegetables after he eaten them. He collected apple seeds and orange seeds. He collected mandarin seeds and watermelon seeds. He collected avocado seeds and mango seeds. If bananas had hard seeds, he would have collected them too. One day, Tiberius Copernicus and his family went on a drive to Italy. It was very hot in Italy because it was the summertime. But the beach, Tiberius Copernicus ate what? On the beach, Tiberius Copernicus ate gelato and pizzas and tomatoes with basil and olive oil. There were no seeds in any of these things, except in the tomatoes, which were too slippery to catch. But one day, Tiberius Copernicus ate a peach. It was covered with a soft down. It was so sweet and juicy. After he ate it, Tiberius looked at the little peach stone left over in his hand. "Throw it away," said Mummy. "Throw it away," said Daddy. But Tiberius Copernicus didn't throw it away. He tucked it into his fist and wouldn't open it for anyone. I want to plant it, he said. "Planet?" said his mummy. "We can't plant it. We're on holidays." But Tiberius Copernicus refused to go anywhere unless he could take his little peach stone with him. "I want to take it home with us," said Tiberius Copernicus. Mummy and Daddy looked at Tiberius Copernicus' face. It was a face that meant what he said. So Daddy found a pot. They put some dirt in it and planted the little peach stone. It looked comfortable in the pot. They gave it some water and put its bottom in a plastic bag in case it leaked in the car. Tiberius Copernicus nursed it in his lap all the way around Italy. Every time they stopped the car, Tiberius Copernicus took the pot filled with dirt and put it somewhere sunny. He thought the little peach stone might like to talk to the other plants they saw there. "But what will your little peach stone do when we arrive back home?" asked Mummy. "He will speak Italian, and the other plants won't understand him." "I will talk to him," said Tiberius Copernicus. He kissed the side of the pot and hugged the stone close to him. But inside, something was starting to worry. What if the peach stone was lonely back at home? Tiberius Copernicus knew there was only one thing to do. He would have to learn Italian. The next day they went swimming at the beach. La Spiaggia. I don't know if I said that right. I know I didn't say that right. He splashed the little peach stone in the water. Aqua. They made a sandcastle. Un castello di sabbia. Un castello di sabbia. And the whole day, the little peach stone was warmed by the lovely sun, Il Sol, on his pot. At the end of the day, Tiberius Copernicus held the pot close to him and said, "Ti amo, little peach stone." And like this, Tiberius Copernicus began to learn Italian. He learned that Il Cielo means the sky, and Un Giardino means the garden, and Gli alberi means the trees. I'm sorry if I'm butchering these words. He tried to speak with the little peach stone about the things it would understand and be interested in, because that's what we do with people we love. One morning, towards the end of the holidays, Tiberius Copernicus went in a boat in a lake on top of the mountain. When he came back in, he dried off and put his clothes back on. When the whole family was back in the car he had been driving for many hours, Tiberius Copernicus suddenly remembered what he had forgotten at the lake. "My little peach stone," he cried. And then he cried some more, because he had left the little stone in the pot all the way back at the lake. It was too far to go back. Tiberius Copernicus felt very lonely, solitario, for many days and nights. But then he thought about the little peach seed, and wondered if another little boy, an Italian boy, might have found his peach friend and planted him somewhere sunny. After many days and nights, Tiberius Copernicus thought some more, and knew that must be what had happened. He thought about the day that he would return to Italy and see his little seed, all fully grown, and be able to kiss it and say, "Ti amo." And that little peach tree might ruffle its leaves and drop into his hand a very sweet, perfectly round baby Italian peach, to say thank you for believing in all the way back when he was just a little peach. The end. See, love. What's this, Gay? Love. Have you ever loved someone or something very much? What kinds of things did you do for the thing or person you loved? How did it make you feel? It feels like the last two things are like essay questions here. We're not going to do that. So that was a very touching children's story. I kind of like that. And again, I know I butchered some of those words. I hope I didn't pull you out of the story. So, we got a sweet children's story. Now we're going to see if I could find a creepy story. These creepy stories are way shorter than what we've just read. So I might read like 2 or 3 of them. So, here we go. Oh, wait. What do you have in chat? Oh, no, the beach. Oh, that's sweet. Yeah, it was pretty cute. All right. So, I think we're just going to read the first 3. Okay? So, the first one... Let me get a drink. So, the first one we got, The Licked Hand. A young girl named Lisa often had to spend time alone at home at night, as her parents worked late. They bought her a dog to keep her company and protect her. One night, Lisa was awakened by a dripping sound. She got up and went to the kitchen to make sure the tap was off. As As she was getting back into bed, she snuck her hand under the bed, and the dog licked it. The dripping sound continued, so she went to the bathroom to make sure the tap was turned off there too. She went back to her bedroom and stuck her hand under the bed, and the dog licked it again. But the dripping continued, so she went outside and turned off the faucets out there. She came back to bed, stuck her hand under it, and the dog licked it again. The dripping continued. Drip, drip, drip. This time she listened and located the source of the dripping. It was coming from her closet. She opened the closet door and found her poor dog hanging upside down around with its neck cut. Within, on the inside of the closet door was, "Humans can look too." Oh, that poor dog. I knew something was going to happen to the dog the moment they mentioned she had a dog. Have you already heard that, Amber? That's first I heard it. I don't really, well, back I used to read a lot of like creepy stories, like man, I forget the name of the series, but like it was like this book series that had like 20 short creepy stories in it. It wasn't really horrifically creepy, just kind of kid creepy kind of thing. Oh yeah, I've read it in a creepy pasta. Creepy pasta. Okay. Hopefully you guys haven't heard all of these. Okay, next one. Who's that hiding in the back seat? If you guys heard this one, let me know. One night, a woman went out for drinks with her girlfriends. She left the bar fairly late at night and started driving home on a deserted highway. She noticed a pair of headlights in the rearview mirror. Wait a minute. I did read this one, but well, I know what this is. I don't know if you guys read this one, but I'm going to continue. She noticed a pair of headlights in her rearview mirror approaching at a pace just slightly quicker than hers. As her car pulled up behind her, she glanced and saw the turn signal on. The car was going to pass, when suddenly it swerved back behind her, pulled up dangerously close to her tailgate, and flashed its lights. Now she was getting nervous. The lights dimmed for a moment, and then the brights came back on, and the car behind her surged forward. The frightened woman struggled to keep her eyes on the road. Finally, she turned into the exit. The car continued to follow, flashing its brights periodically. Through every spotlight and turn, the car followed her until she pulled into her driveway. She figured her only hope was to make a mad dash to the house and call the police. As she jumped out of the car, so did the driver of the car behind her, and he screamed, "Lock the door and call the police. Call 911." When the police arrived, the horrible truth was finally revealed to the woman. The man in the car has been trying to save her. As he pulled up behind her, and his headlights illuminated the car, he saw the silhouette of a man with a butcher knife raising up from the back seat. I've heard this story told several different ways. The way I heard it was, she pulled into a gas station, and then when she tried to get away, the gas station attendant tried to stop her from leaving because he saw the guy get into the back seat, but then she drove off, and then the situation happened. So that's how I heard the story originally. I don't know how you guys heard it originally. To make this creepy, I'm going to turn off this living room light. Be right back. All right. Hopefully this is a little bit creepier. Now, here's the third one. I hope this third one, I hope I haven't heard this one. And I hope you guys haven't heard this one either. So far, the first two, some of us already heard it. This one is called "Some Things Are Better Left Unseen." Two dorm mates in college were in the same science class. The teacher had just reminded them about the midterm the next day when one dorm mate, let's call her Julie, got invited to a party by the hottest guy in school. The other dormmate, Meg, had pretty much no interest in going, and, being a diligent student, took notes on the material that would appear on the midterm. After spending all her time flirting with her date, Julie was totally unprepared for her test. At the end of the day, Julie spent hours getting ready for the party while Meg started studying. Julie tried to get Meg to go, but Meg was insistent that she needed to study and pass the test. Julie went to the party and had the time of her life with her date. She headed back to the dorm around 2 a.m. and decided not to wake Meg. She went to bed nervous about the midterm and decided she would wake up early to ask Meg for help. In the morning, Meg was lying on her stomach, apparently sound asleep. Julie rolled her over to reveal Meg's terrified face. Julie, concerned, turned on the desk lamp. Meg's study stuff was still open and had blood all over it. Meg had been slaughtered. Julie, in horror, fell to the floor and looked up to see, written on the wall in Meg's blood, "Aren't you glad you didn't turn on the light?" This actually reminds me of a movie I saw. I can't remember the name of the movie, but there was a scene like in the movie where it was in college. I think it was like I Know What You Did Last Summer. That can't be it. Anyway, so the scene was there's these two roommates, and they didn't get along at all, right? Like the girl, well, they were just like oil and water. They was always fighting, always complaining. And at one point in the movie, the girl came into the dorm room, turned on the light, and the roommate was having sex with some random guy, and freaked out and yelled at her. So later in the movie, where there's like a killer walking around, the roommate is with the killer, thinking it's her hot date showing up, but then the killer turns off the lights, pins her down to the bed, and is about to stab her, when the woman comes back into the dorm room. She's about to turn on the light, but then remembers, like, oh, my roommate yelled at me last time I did that. Like, she knew there was another guy in there. Like, she could kind of see the silhouette, but didn't know it was the killer. So she left the light off. And her roommate ended up getting slaughtered right next to her, thinking they were just having really violent sex. So yeah, that's what this story reminded me of. Looks like Shah is getting really nervous here. If it's getting too creepy, let me know. I'll go back to the children's stories. Speaking of, should we go back to the children's story right now? I already read 3 creepy ones. What are you guys in the mood for right now? You let me know. I can go either way with this. Maybe I should leave it up to the next person that donates gets to say if it's going to be a creepy story or a children's story. I never really tried to milk anybody for Linos before. It probably makes me a bad streamer because I don't do that. Okay, you're fine. Well, okay, I'm glad you're going to be able to stick around, Shah. I keep messing. I'm sorry. I'm terrible names. So let's see. We could go with The Strange Burial. Or what else do I have here? One of these children's stories. You need to do a thong. I'll be back. Whoa, Amber, too much information. Well, okay. We're going to go with the children's story. Hurry back, Amber. We are going to continue on, and let's see here. Let's see. You know what? This image just kind of like caught my eye. The Lions Are Always Brave. We're going to read The Lions Are Always Brave. Lions Are Always Brave by Book Dash. All lions are brave, or are they? And can we get this ad out of me? Okay, here we go. Lions are always brave, and we have a very unbrave picture of a lion cub here. And A bunch of copy paste images here. Okay, let's get to the story. Lions. Is there a story? Okay. We got lion booty here. I close that ad. Okay. Oh, hello. And I'm a lion. Do you know what that is? Should I tell you? Let me tell you. And, well, he showed us. A lion is strong. Grrr. Lions can run very fast. Whoosh. That's what like the brake sounds when it stops. Lions are extremely stretchy. Stretchy? Is stretchy? Oh, okay. And, oh no. He looks scared at the cloud. What is he trying to say? Brave! Lions are always brave! Lions aren't scared of. Uh-oh. Oh, yeah, it's like gray cotton candy is about to fall on him. And he's... What is he doing? Like, is this supposed to be ground? Or is all gray? I don't... And then there's Mufasa's over here, missing his neck. Okay, let's see. Lions aren't scared of any lightning sounds, thunder sounds. Ding! And then, I don't know if he's scared or if he's just really creeped out at this other lion licking him. And, well, there's Stockholm Syndrome for you. It is kind of like floating around in this nebulous grayness that's flown out of his head. And, hey, it is Mufasa. He's just, like, slowly taking shape here. Ah, there he goes. Mufasa's lost his mane. Roar! Roar! Lightning crash. But he's not scared because he's with, I assume that's his mother, next to a rock, while there's a big home here. And is that supposed to be rain? This looks like there's like ropes are being dragged behind this cloud. And we got more lions. And another cloud. And the end! Well, I hope you enjoyed that children's story. It's, I guess we kind of read it in the wrong order when we had a really great one with the peach, and, we had this. What is... Okay, you know what? I don't fall for clickbait. Although that is adorable right here. Alright, so... Should we do another children's story? Or go right back to the scary stories? Oh, the pictures have deep meaning? Fair enough. Pictures tell the story far better than the words do. So, let's see. You know, I kind of want to do the scary stories again. Where was it? Makes you rethink your life. Well, I hope it does for the better for you, Shay. Welcome back, Amber. Just in time for the scary stories. And we're going to start off with Strange Burial. Alright, let's click on there. Sorry. I know I'm cheesy. My great-great-grandmother, ill for quite some time, finally passed away after lying in a coma for several days. My great-great-grandfather was devastated beyond belief, as she was his one true love, and they had been married for over 50 years. They were married so long it seemed as if they knew each other each other's innermost thoughts. After the doctor pronounced her dead, my great-great-grandfather insisted that she was still alive. They had to pry him away from his wife's body so that they could ready her for burial. Back in those days, they had backyard burial plots and did not drain the body of its fluids. They simply prepared a proper coffin and buried the body in its coffin, in its permanent resting place. Throughout the process, my great-great-grandfather protested so fiercely that he had to be sedated and put to bed. Finally, his wife was buried. That night, he woke to a horrific vision of his wife, hysterically trying to scratch her way out of the coffin. He phoned the doctor immediately and begged to have his wife's body exhumed. The doctor refused, but my great-great-grandfather had the nightmare every night for a week, each time frantically begging to have his wife removed from the grave. Finally, the doctor gave in and, together with local authorities, exhumed the body. The coffin was pried open, and to everyone's horror and amazement, my great-great-grandmother's nails were bent back, and there were bloody scratch marks on the inside of the coffin. I think I heard that one before. Oh, was this Amber? You could give the names? Oh, you know some stories. Okay, go ahead. Tell us some stories, Amber, and I'll look them up. And while you're typing out the stories, we're going to go with... okay, I'm pretty sure we've all heard this one. Attack of the Hookman. This is like the oldest kind of like lame horror story there is. So we're going to skip that one. Unless you guys really want me to read it. But we're going to go with The Missing Boyfriend for now. A girl and her boyfriend were making out in his car. Of course, it's just like the Hookman one. They had parked in the woods so no one would see them. When they were done, the boy got out and peed, and the girl waited for him in the safety of the car. After waiting 5 minutes, the girl got out of the car to look for her boyfriend. Suddenly, she saw a man in the shadows. She jumped back into the car and was starting to drive away when she heard a very faint squeak, squeak, squeak. This continued for a few seconds before the girl decided that she had no choice but to drive off. She hit the gas so hard as she hit the gas as hard as possible but couldn't get away because someone had tied a rope to the bumper of the car to a nearby tree. The girl slammed the gas again. Suddenly, she heard a loud scream. She got out of the car and saw her boyfriend was hanging from the tree. The squeaky noise was his shoes scraping across the top of the car. Oh. So somebody hung the boy... Okay, no. This one I know I heard before. Actually, I've seen this in a movie. I forget the name of the movie, but there was like a serial killer trying to repeat these horror stories. And hung the boyfriend on top of the car. Like he was barely tiptoeing on there, and then the girlfriend drove away and then hung the boyfriend. Let's see, Mr. Banana. Oh, I hope I'm not scaring you too much, Amber. Okay, let's look up this Mr. Banana. I'm just getting pictures of Banana. Mr. Banana story. Mr. Banana creepypasta. Okay. How long is this one? Come on, you darn ads. Close all these ads. There's so many of them. Okay, I'm trying to close these. Okay, let's bring this over so you guys could see what I'm dealing with here. Okay, so I assume this is where we begin the story. Okay. Creepypasta presents. Okay, it's just kind of scrolling on its own right now. Mr. Banana. Written by R.K. Gorman. Protect the Amber, brave Teddy. Oh, yeah, this one... Yeah, it seems a good deal longer. Wow, this is pretty long. All right, everybody strap in. Trying to... Why won't you let me close that? Okay, let's see. I'm going to make sure I didn't miss anything in chat before I move on with this. All right, Mr. Banana. We've been doing civics for the past month. I was teaching second grade at Witherspoon Elementary, struggling to teach the meaning of Gettysburg and the Battle of Princeton to a bunch of 8-year-olds, especially without giving a diatribe about the evils of slavery and making them bring that crap home to their parents. One day, I was stuttering through a lesson on a states' rights speech by Jefferson Davis when... Hold up, I was legitimately creeped out. Sylia just got home, and I just heard the door kind of open up. Welcome home, Sylia. I am reading creepy stories to my stream right now, and I'm not going to say you give me a heart attack when you open up. But it did make my... Yeah, okay, maybe a tiny heart attack. Anyway, thank you for the gifts. All right. Sorry about the interruption, everybody. Let's see, where did we leave off? Okay. One day, I was stuttering through a lesson on the states... Okay, we already went through that. No, I didn't. We were studying through a lesson on the states' rights speech by Jefferson Davis when suddenly Jimmy blurted out, "Mr. Johnson, you look like a banana." The other kids laughed their butts off, latching on to the joke immediately. Yeah, a big fat banana. Big fat stinky banana. All right. I know my clothes are a little funny. I was wearing a yellow Ralph Lauren button down, that's oddly specific, and some bright mustard khakis. Brown shoes, too. The stems, I guess. Just for today, you can call me Mr. Banana. The kids exploded after that. We didn't accomplish much for the rest of the day, but I wondered if the whole Mr. Banana business might actually be good for them. On the way home, I decided to buy some stuff from Greeny Street, a couple of yellow button-downs, some yellow ties, a few pairs of pants. I signed the receipt, Mr. Banana. The cashier didn't notice, but I chuckled as I walked out the door. Walking down Nassau, I had a sudden craving for banana bread. So I went to Wawa and bought some ingredients. Figured I would bake one for myself and one for the kids. When I got home, I mixed up the ingredients and put 2 loaves in the oven. Then I pulled one out then I pulled up an old episode of Sesame Street on YouTube. I was thinking a lot about Yellow, I guess, but it had never occurred to me how magnificent Big Bird was. That lovable behemoth always brightened everyone's mood. There's this one episode where he goes to school for the first time, and he tries to take his desk from classroom because the teacher said it was his. I laughed, thinking about having a giant bird in my classroom. Everything would probably go to poop. Anyway, once the banana bread was done, I sliced myself a big piece, squirting a little whipped cream on top. It was good, but tasted a little strange. Figured I would change up the recipe if I made another batch. The next time, I came into school in full yellow garb, a pineapple tie, some pastel pants, even an old pair of shoes that I sprayed painted yellow. Once the kids sat down, we went through our daily salutation with a slight twist. Good morning, class. Good morning, Mr. Banana. Every kid got a piece of banana bread wrapped in plastic between the gluten and walnuts and eggs. I probably would have been sued if a crumb fell on the floor. Somehow, we made some headway into the Civil War that day. I showed them segments from the documentary about Abraham Lincoln, and they actually sat still, fumbling the banana bread in their hands. I started getting emails from parents a few days later. Mr. Johnson, Alice absolutely loves your class. She said you're the funniest teacher she's ever had. Keep up the good work. Mrs. Goldman, it was nice to get that approval, like I was actually doing something important. Heck, maybe these kids would even remember some of the stuff I taught them. So, is it get spooky? After you mentioned the banana bread tasted kind of funny, I got some ideas of what's going on. So, I started to go all out, bringing in yellow streamers to hang across the classroom, typing up a weekly newsletter with a banana-themed border, taking showers with Le Olay Banana Blast Shampoo. Okay. I spent hours on Google just so I could do a banana fact of the day for the kids. Turns out the scientific name for banana is Musa sapet. Yeah, which means fruit of the wise men. Go figure. I decided I would bring a banana bread every Monday, something for the kids to look forward to at the beginning of the week. Added a few sprinkles of cinnamon to the second batch, but the batter still didn't taste right to me. I figured a few strands of my banana-infused hair might do the trick. So I chopped off a few stragglers from the back of my neck and sauteed them in some olive oil. The batter had a slight punch after that. Definitely an improvement. Okay. This is kind of going in the direction I thought it would. I like the subtlety here. I met with Principal Dole the next morning. Felt a little ridiculous going to a meeting in a neon yellow Jerry Garcia, but he didn't seem to mind. You know, Mr. Johnson, I've received a lot of positive feedback about your whole fruit theme initiative. Seems to really keep the kids focused. Anything to improve those test scores, right? Hey, if it works, it works. Keep it up, and you might find yourself tenured in a few years. I'm just happy to get through to these kids, sir. Oh, hey, welcome Morecog to the stream. Yes, today's my birthday, and I'm reading stories for my birthday. So, yeah, it's recommended by Amber. It's bound to be strange. So, yes, we're already getting into some weirdness. I'm pretty sure the creepy is about to approach very soon. Let's continue the story. When I got home, I turned on a documentary about corruption in Chiquita Brands International. Apparently, they brought cocaine to Borneo. And oh, hey, Morcog, thank you for the subscription. Welcome to the Choppy crew. That is awesome. I'm sorry. Back to the story. Get right back to you in a second. Okay. Where were we? Okay. When I got home, I turned on a documentary about corruption in Chiquita Brands International. Apparently, they brought cocaine to Borneo on some of their ships. Treated the plantation workers like crap, too. I thought it would be nice to write a letter to the company about my initiative. Figured they might like to know about their product was more than just a topping for oatmeal. I spent the whole night writing, and it turned into a few thousand words about my theories on elementary education. Didn't really think much of it, but I sent it with the subject, "Bananas are more than just food." Well, then he has the email right there. It would probably be lost amongst all the crap and angry customers anyway. It didn't cross my mind again until that weekend when I got a phone call on the treadmill at Planet Fitness. Mr. Johnson, this is... Okay, that's not the right voice for Sophie. Mr. Johnson, this is Sophie from the Star Ledger. Just got an email from someone at Chiquita. Do you have a few minutes for an interview? Yeah, of course. Let's see. Need to know how the mod turned out. Oh, it's been a while since I actually worked on that mod, but I'll get back to it this Friday, maybe. Join the stream, check it out. I was on the cover that week. It was a photo of me, dressed in full yellow, pointing above the camera in the foreground with all the gape-mouthed students behind me. Mr. Banana peels away the doubters. The local CBS station stopped by the school for a segment, too. I watched my segment that Sunday, a few minutes of my awkward teaching voice, interspersed with interviews from me, Principal Doe, and a few parents. Apparently, some other elementary school teachers were starting to do it too. Mrs. Strawberry, Mr. Blueberry. I wondered if anyone else was doing the banana too. Once the special was over, I went to work on my third batch of banana bread. I sprinkled the cinnamon, sauteed some of my neck hair, but the batter still tasted a little flat to me. I looked down at my hands. It occurred to me that my skin was starting to turn a little yellow, probably from all the bananas I've been eating. I wondered if my skin had any of the flavor too. I grabbed the tweezers and plucked a thin piece from the tip of my thumb. It was a little salty, but definitely had a fruity taste to it. I figured I'd try it out in the batter, so I took a bowl and plucked some skin off of all 10 of my fingers. Then I mixed it in. Tasted great. That morning, people actually recognized me in the streets. All those Princeton kids must watch the news. I couldn't make it more than a few steps down Washington without being stopped for a selfie or congratulatory handshake. It was nice, actually. I never thought wearing silly clothes would make people like me so much. I threw up in the trash can when I walked into the classroom. Wait, yeah, I threw up in the trash can when I walked into the classroom. Figured I'd been eating too much potassium. It was pure yellow, of course. That bright bile of banana mixture must have been churning in my stomach for days. I was there early, so I wouldn't have to engage. I was there early, just so I wouldn't have to engage in those jealous, snarky small talk with the other teachers. So you're some sort of teaching genius, huh? I wrote the banana fact of the day on the blackboard and sat at my desk, shaking, waiting for the kids to arrive. I handed out the rations of banana bread after the Pledge of Allegiance. I wondered if the kids would still eat it if they knew they were eating pieces of me. Figured I should keep it a secret for the time being. Plus, it was my best batch yet. They didn't need to know how it was made. That night, I get another email from Mrs. Goldman. Good evening, Mr. Johnson. Congrats on your 15 minutes. Alice just loves the idea that her teacher was famous. We really appreciate all your effort, especially baking for the kids every week. Just a heads up, Alice found a hair in her banana bread this evening. Make sure you're keeping things clean at home. We don't want her to get sick and miss out on class. Mrs. Gordman. I went to the bathroom and looked at myself in the mirror. Still dressed in my work clothes, it occurred to me that I was really starting to look like a banana. I gelled the top of my hair into a curve, pointed stemmed and turned sideways, arcing my back. For a second there, my face in the mirror disappeared. I was perfectly smooth, perfectly curved, perfectly ripe. I almost cried thinking about changing into my pajamas. Instead of a delicious yellowish plump, I was just a freckled, overweight sack of blood and bones. I peeled off the clothes and walked into the kitchen, just to make sure. I took the kitchen knife and made a small incision into my forearm. The blood immediately oozed out. A dark, purple sludge began to drip onto the floor. I sliced the other arm, and the same result. Then I sat down, watched the blood spurting angrily from my thighs. I woke up a few hours later, shivering, caked in brown metallic crust. I ate some breakfast, took a shower, and put on my full yellow outfit. Figured I should wear long sleeves for the next few days. On Friday, the students performed a little play about On Friday, the students performed a little play about Appomattox Courthouse. Sitting in the back of the classroom, I wiped my eyes and typed the inquiry into Google. Did the Confederate soldiers eat bananas? I spent a weekend at home, lights off, watching the same episode of Sesame Street on repeat. Big Bird yanking on the desk, the nails screeching on the floor. You said it was mine! You said it was mine! On Sunday night, I chopped off my left pinky and fried it in a skillet. I sliced it into tiny pieces and mixed it into the batter. The banana bread came out darker than usual, like a little savory, but still delicious. I wrapped my left hand in gauze and went to bed. I woke up later the next morning, only had a few minutes to get ready. I slid into the Avenger Joe t-shirt and a pair of yellow khakis, stuffed the banana bread into my backpack, and walked out the door. The kids stared at me warily as they walked into the classroom. Once they sat down, Jimmy raised his hand. Yes. Mr. Banana, what happened to your hand? Oh, this? Just a little accident. Nothing to worry about. I held up my hand for the whole class to see. Were you climbing a tree? No, Jimmy. Just an accident in the kitchen. What are those scratches on your arms? I looked down. My forearms were crusted with blood. Must have opened the cuts again, somehow. I hadn't showered in days. Don't worry, kids. Let me run to the bathroom and clean up. I rushed out of the classroom into the bathroom across the hall. I took the gauze off my left hand. Then I pounded my fist against the hand dryer until every bone shattered. I woke up to the sound of a faint whisper behind me. I stood up and turned around. It was a banana, slightly bruised, but a beautiful shade of yellow, with sharp lines protruding from the stem. He turned sideways, revealing his perfect curvature, and flashed me a big smile. I walked toward him, closer and closer, until my nose was inches from the glass. Then he reached up and grabbed the top of his stem, stretching it sharply to one side. Slowly he peeled it apart, revealing that incredible white flesh inside, radiating, beautiful, radiating, breathing, beautiful. So I did the same. I dragged my fingernails down my scalp, carving into my bones. The fresh, airy pulp coated my forearms, and clumps of yellow shrapnel fluttered to my feet. And then I was naked for the first time, staring at my own eyes, my own flesh, panting, finally believing that I was something more. I pressed my lips against the glass. A cool breeze rushed to my core, and then I was gone. The end. Okay. Didn't exactly go where I thought it was. And that's the end of that story. Let's see what I miss in chat here. Need to know how the OMFG hair and the banana bread. There's more than hair in there. Yep, little bits of the guy's flesh too. So yeah, guy really wanted to be a banana. So next creepy. Okay, that was a long one. So we're gonna go back to the kid stories. Let's see. Let's hope this is let's look for a good kid story. You know what? I like this one. It has a picture of a spaceship. This one is called "There's a Hole in My Galaxy." Guess no more bananas for me for life. Thanks. Hey, it's sorry, Shy. Sorry about that. Hey, I didn't pick the story. Okay, Amber wanted the story. I just read it. I'm sorry. I wonder what kind of story I could read, the anti-Mr. Banana story, so you can start liking bananas again. Sorry it was too long? No. It's perfectly fine if it's long. It says, I just wasn't expecting the way it ended. Okay, you need to read these stories in a robe and slippers in front of a fireplace. Oh, I should... I don't have a fireplace. I do have a robe. Hold on, let me get my robe. There we go. How's that? I mean, it's a black robe, and being that I kind of turned off most of the lights, it's kind of hard to see. But yep, this is my robe. Don't have a fireplace. You know what I could do? I could probably green screen a fireplace behind me. I got a green screen. It's not very big though. Well, it seems everybody loves the idea of me reading these stories in front of a fireplace. Just put a fireplace loop up on stream. You know, that's not a bad idea. I might do that. You know what? I might make this a thing. maybe like I'll pick a day. Maybe every Wednesday, as I'll just do storytelling, and then I might do that. But right now it's really hot. Being in that robe, I'm gonna need to get a lighter robe if I'm gonna do that. Or really, really crank up the AC. And why is my cable just kind of hooked on? What are you? Okay, there we go. Good enough. Maybe a pipe in hand. I might actually have some props I could use for that. Like back when I was doing YouTube videos, I have a whole bunch of old props, and I haven't done YouTube videos in years, but I might have something that could help out with that. Well, this is actually a lot of fun, so I might end up doing that. I might make Wednesdays Storytelling Wednesday. I'll shoot out a message in Discord after this stream and see what everybody else in the crew thinks about that. So where were we? Oh right, there's a hole in my galaxy. Uh-oh, there are holes in the galaxy, black holes. Let's see here. This is who's this written by, sir? Okay, by Storyweaver. It is the year 2563 on planet Earth. Maya's family owns a rocket ship, but she's not allowed to use it, not without a grown-up. Ava really wants to see Pluto. She's Mary's best friend and loves everything about space and astronomy. She wants Maya to fly her to Pluto. Please, said Ava. Please, please. My parents would be angry, Maya protested. They're all out for the weekend, and it's not that far to Pluto. We'll be back before your parents return. Promises Ava. Maya reluctantly agrees. Her brother, Rayhan, tags along. The three friends soar off from Earth on a hot summer night. Ava bounces with excitement. Ava starts reeling off the facts about the solar system. Do you know that one day the sun will die? Asks Ava. You say the strangest things, Ava. How can the sun die? Asks Rayhan. The sun gets its energy by burning hydrogen to produce helium. Slowly, all the hydrogen gets used up. Probably in 5 billion years, says Ava. Ava tells Rayhan that when the star the size of the sun dies, it becomes a white dwarf. When the star bigger than the sun dies, it becomes a black hole. And then I really like this art style. Like I know like this is meant for like a kid story, but even as a grown old man, like I appreciate this kind of art style. It's really creative. Uh-oh, we got alert sounds going on. Suddenly, there's a loud beeping. Alert! Alert! Heavy object pulling ship off course, says the computer. The friends stare at the screen. But I can't see anything, says Rayhan. No, look, says Maya. The stars in Orion's belt are no longer in a straight line. Ava gulps. I think we're near the black hole. The gravitational field of the black hole is bending the light of the stars near it, like a lens bends the light that passes through it. Now the kids are freaking out. Confirmation. Black hole twice as heavy as the sun, moving at the speed of the ship. Black hole event horizon 5 kilometers away. Black hole! Maya and Rayhan asked together. We need to move away now, Ava stammers. We have to reach. If we reach the black hole, we'll be sucked in forever. Why? Demands Rayhan. First, let's get away, Ava says, almost in tears. Maya is shaken in fear. She yells commands to the computer. Full power! Double power! Accelerate away from the black hole! Put everything you got! Firing emergency boosters. But the pull is too strong. Approaching black hole, 4 kilometers. The event horizon, 3 kilometers, 2 kilometers. We're being pulled towards it, Maya says. Suddenly the computer announces, holding at 1 kilometer, 500 meters, away from event horizon. Maximum power. Holding. 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 The rocket remains motionless. A silent tug of war is taking place. On one side is a terrible gravitational pull of the black hole. On the other side is the power of a super new generation rocket. The computer announces, pulling away 1 kilometer, 1.5 kilometers, 2 kilometers away from event horizon, moving away from black hole. The three friends who have been clinging to each other all this while let go and drop in their seats. All they want is to return home, to Earth. And now they're zoop away from the black hole. And they're still kind of like freaking out in this picture. This is really cute. Maya makes sure the spaceship is on the right course and then asks, Ava, what just happened? No, what happened just now? What exactly is a black hole? Ava takes a deep breath and explains that when a star larger than the sun dies, it collapses into itself. It squeezes into nothing and becomes like a hole in space. Even time behaves funnily inside a black hole. It runs at a different rate near the black hole from anywhere else, she says. Is that true? Like, I know black holes could bend light. I didn't know time works differently the closer you get to a black hole. That's actually new to me, and I don't know if they're making this up. And well, anyway, let's move on. What happens when something like a rocket ship falls into a black hole? Asks Rehan. Well, it gets sucked into the center of the black hole and is torn into nothing, Ava says. Rehan squeals. Seriously? He and Maya realize that they had a narrow escape. Actually, I think like you just get kind of crushed down into like something less than an atom. Because the gravity's so heavy in the black hole. Can nothing come out of a black hole? Maya asks. Ava shakes her head. Not even light comes out of a black hole. The event horizon of a black hole is a point of no return. Anything that falls into the event horizon is lost forever to the outside world. Rian shudders, but Maya has more questions. She wants to know how many black holes there are in the universe. Oh, Amber's confirming that the time thing is true, according to the science people. All right, well, the internet says so it has to be true. Nobody is really sure, says Ava, but scientists guess that there is, perhaps, one black hole for every 1,000 stars in the universe. If this is right, then there are a billion black holes in total. Ava explains that some black holes have a mass of about that of the sun, but only black holes are much larger. But other black holes are much larger, not any. Then, we got everything that's sucked into the black hole. There is a huge one right in the middle of the galaxy with a mass of more than 1 million suns, she says. Ryan and Maya look nervous. Ava assures him that it is far, far away. Every 30 million billion kilometers away. About every 30 million billion kilometers away. 30 million billion. That's a real number, right? The rocket zooms towards Earth. I want to get home now, says Rehan. I think we were very close, Maya says. To everyone's relief, the computer announces, Landon, welcome back to Earth. Whew, these kids look beat. The three of them rush out of the ship into Maya and Rehan's backyard. They are stunned by the chilly winds that hit their face. Didn't we leave when it was super hot? And I thought we were away from home for just a few hours, says Maya. Maya, Rehan, it's winter, says Ava. Maya finishes Ava's thought. Time runs at a different rate near a black hole from anywhere else. And the time they had spent fighting the black hole, 6 months have gone by on Earth. Maya and Rehan's parents have come back from their weekend trip months ago. And the three friends are in big trouble. What is a black hole? Okay, and I think that's the end of the story, and then after that, it's just science facts. Like, oh, I guess I should have kind of read the end of the story. Yeah, it's like, the three friends are in big trouble. Okay, what is a black hole? The Indian scientist I'm not going to be able to say that name. First understood that big stars collapse into black holes. The discovery won him the Nobel Prize. Black holes are the densest objects in the universe. No object at the same mass can occupy less space than a black hole. Throwing things into a black hole makes it bigger, but it is almost impossible to make black holes smaller. Scientists believe that black holes less than 3 kilometers in radius are not formed from collapsing stars, but tiny black holes may have been produced during the early universe and may have stuck around. Event horizon is the boundary of the region of no return. While objects outside the event horizon can escape from the black hole, objects that cross it never come out again. Mass, roughly its weight of the object, more precisely, a measure of how difficult it is to accelerate, to move, the object. And that's more Smarty stuff. No one really knows because it's beyond the what is beyond the event horizon. Well, I've seen that movie, Event Horizon, and there is a very horrific scene in there that was cut out. I'm sorry, I'm getting off track. But yeah, I think after reading the creepy, scary stories, I kind of got stuck in that creepy story mentality when reading this, because I thought it was going to be like, 50 years later, the parents are dead, the world is in chaos, and it's the apocalypse, and now these kids are just like in a hellscape of an earth. But no, 6 months passed. Parents probably thought they were dead. That's probably the worst thing that happened. So, there goes that story. Now back to a creepy story. Let's go with these short ones again. We'll read a few of the short ones. Spiders in the hairdo. There once was a 10-year-old girl with braids. The girl had been wearing her braids in a ponytail for her longest time, and the braids were old, at least 2 or 3 months old, and the girl's mother never took them down to wash them. The girl had been complaining to her mother about having a headache for about 2 weeks. Her mother just brushed it off, assuming that the girl had just bumped her head or something. One morning, while getting ready for school, the child again began complaining to her mother. Again, her mother brushed her off. At school, the girl told the teacher that her head was hurting. The teacher assumed that the braids were too tight in the child's hair and attempted to let the ponytail down. When she let the braids loose, the teacher saw a spider in the child's hair. The spider had laid eggs in the child's hair, and the spiders were eating her scalp. The girl was rushed to the hospital, where she later died. I think they could have left off that last sentence. This kind of reminds me of another story I've read a long time ago about they have a story of the woman's pancakes. Then you can eat banana pancakes. Yes, tell me. Let me know what that story about the pancake is. But anyway, back to this one. I've read a story about a girl who she got like a pimple on her face, but it turned out it was a bug bite, and it was just getting bigger and bigger. She was waiting for it to like just kind of go away, but it just kept growing and growing and growing on her cheek, until finally one day, like it was just like her entire cheek was red, and then it kind of like a little bit of the skin kind of broke open, and a whole bunch of baby spiders started crawling out of her cheek because a spider had laid eggs inside her cheek, and there was this baby spider just crawling out of the face. I thought this story was going to be something like that, with like just spiders just kind of coming out of the scalp. But, like saying like, oh, spiders are eating her scalp, girl later died, boom. That just seems kind of a bit gratuitous. Like, I mean, this felt rushed. You didn't really need that part. I would never eat banana and pancakes. What? Banana and pancakes goes kind of like it. The pancake family. Okay, we're going to look for the pancake family. I'm going to search for it on this other browser, or on my other monitor, in case something not family friendly pops up. Okay. Here we go. Yeah, Choppy, I think there's a movie for that. What about the spiders? I mean, it's a really old, scary story. The spiders coming out of the girl's face, out of her cheek. So I wouldn't be surprised if several movies try to copy it. All right. If you like pancakes, you may not want to stick around for this, but please stick around. I need the views. So, the pancake family. This might ruin pancakes for you. Blame Amber, not me. Pancake story. Original story to be found here. Oh, wait. Should we read the original story? See, I'm letting this, see, The Orc Knight Returns. That's the name of the website. And they can't find the story. Okay, so it's not there anymore. The narrator does a swear or swear. Well, I have been editing out all the swears. If you noticed, yeah, these stories aren't actually using the word poop or crap. I've been kind of putting those in myself because I am a member of the profanity police. Here we go. Pancake family. How's your complexion? That pale, huh? Jesus, I bet I look like a ghost. I'm still in shock, I think. I feel like I've bled out 2 gallons. I'm sorry to ramble. It's just that I'm, what's the word for it? Detached. Strange feelings. Seen it enough times in the field. After all I've been through, I figured I figured if I was ever going to experience it myself, then I would have to experience it by now. I feel like I'm floating outside my body. Just cut the cord and I float away. Did you see the crime scene? Interviewer. No. Do yourself a favor. Don't. Don't ever. Don't even look at the pictures. Don't even touch the file. You'll thank me later. I can't get my knees to stop shaking, to stop rattling. Is that why you're holding onto the coffee like that? I'm shaking the table, aren't I? Hold on a second. Let me back up the chair. There, that's better. Interviewer. Thanks, Hob. Can you confirm for the record that you're waiving your right to an attorney? No, I'm still not interested in an attorney. I mean, yes, I'm waiving my rights. Sorry. Interviewer. Are you sure? Yes. Interviewer. Let the record show that Detective Hobson Millgate, retired, has waived his right to an attorney. I won't need a lawyer after the DA stops puking and considers taking it public. There's no way they're showing that to a jury. There's nothing harder than mercy sometimes. I did what I had to do. It just happened to be hard and ugly. Here's what I'm missing here. Yeah, I just realized all the profanity police officers are in one stream. Ooh, nice. All 3 of us. Interviewer, are you hungry? No. I think I just puke again if you gave me anything. Interviewer, are you ready to begin? No, but I'm as ready as I'll ever be. Interviewer, what led you to the crime scene on the night in question? Would you believe I was planning a fishing trip before all this started? Never mind. It was a reporter. Name of Stacy Bammer. She contacted me a week ago by email and claimed she had new information on the Driscoll murders. I was the lead investigator, and I'm sure I knew the case had gone unsolved for 20 years. The case was cold as ice. I thought it was a gag at first. You know how that can be. Most of the time, it's not even on purpose. Everyone thinks they know something that will crack the case wide open. The Driscoll murders were a big story around these parts. Over the years, I must have gotten a couple 100 fake leads. I've handed an investigation over to Detective Warren Carroll when I retired, but I didn't want him to be bothered with any fake BS. I know he's busy and all. I know he's busy with all the new gang activity that's going on. Since she's contacted me, I figured I'd check it out for him out of courtesy. I wasn't expecting it to go anywhere. I met her for lunch at Prairie's Cafe. She was a good-looking blonde gal. So She didn't fit the typical profile for a hoaxer. Not that I put too much faith in profiles after 40 years. She also might have been one of those creepy gals that gets off on death. God knows I dealt with enough in those days. She seemed normal enough, but I thought she might be pulling my leg, or maybe she had been fooled too. But she had the file with her. It contained what appeared to be a confession by the Driscoll. Well, he wasn't a murderer, was he? I really do wish he had been, you know. It would have been so much better for everyone. Interviewer: can you please fill us in on the relevant details of the Driscoll case? Let's see. It would have been 20 years now. As I said 20 years ago, this was a disappearance. Thinking of all those years, I mean, 20 goddamn years. That's a long time. Interviewer: take your time, Hob. Thanks. It actually says clear in throat. The Driscolls were a family of 6 out of the suburbs. Upper middle class. Father was an attorney. Mother ran her own business, selling property out of the house. Selling pottery out of the house. Even had her own kin. 4 children, all high school age and below. Good kids, honor roll, no criminal records to speak of. The oldest son was caught smoking dope at his high school once, but nothing much beside that. Just the typical stuff you find when you look at people too closely. They disappeared October 13th, 1994. No traces were found in the bodies. That's why it made the press go crazy. You still see it show up on some of those unsolved mystery shows. A whole family disappeared and no one saw a thing. No one knew where they went. A neighbor lodged a sound complaint, which is how we found the scene. There was an alarm going off, and the neighbor called it in. Figured it might have been a fire. When no one answered the door, the patrolman went in to investigate. There was obvious signs of a struggle in the youngest daughter's bedroom. The bed had been flipped over, and the sheets were torn. We found elevated concentrations of carbon monoxide in the fiber of the bed sheets, except the youngest daughter. The alarms was a carbon monoxide detector, which is how we knew to look. The neighborhood indicated that the sound had been going on for over a day, and she'd been unable to get anyone to answer the door during that time. We also found several aluminum canisters and some hoses in a dumpster and a few blocks away. At the time, we assumed that the Driscolls had been gassed and disposed of in a different location. Expectant, of course, the daughter who woke up at the end and put up a struggle. The investigation gave no leads, of course. Our first thought was that the father did it. We checked it out, but he didn't have motive. No leads to check out. Same as the mother. Surviving family checked out clean too. The father had a few clients who might have had a motive, but the means weren't there. He was a divorce lawyer, but not for anybody who could have taken out the entire family without leaving evidence. There was a chemistry teacher who lived 3 blocks away, and we investigated him for a while because of the canisters, but he alibied out. Same with the dentist who lived nearby. The wife had an online flirtation with some kid out of England, but nothing adulterous, and he wasn't even in the country at the time of the murder. We settled, unhappily, on the idea of a random killing. Hardest pieces of the crap to catch. We must have sunk tens of thousands of man-hours into the case, tracking down leads. The Driscolls have been knocked out and abducted. Like I said, no one had ever found the bodies. Who was to say that they hadn't just run off? Until, well, the rest of that, I'd rather only talk about that once. Interviewer: what can you tell us about the confession wound up with Miss Balmer? She's been following the case for some years, but personally and as a reporter, like I said, It captured the imagination of a lot of people. Even seemingly normal folks thought it could have been aliens, ghosts, or demons. Miss Bulmer published a retrospective on the murders given the 20-year anniversary. It caused a renewed interest, which happened from time to time. As usual, I declined to comment, citing a lack of new evidence. I remember her asking for my quote, though, which is why I accepted the lunch meeting. After publication of the article, Miss Bulmer claimed that she had been sent a file. She wished to have me authenticate. She wished to have me authenticate. The most pertinent part of the file was a confession. I assume Miss Bulmer that such false documents are not uncommon, especially in older cases like this, and that I personally heard of 24 confessions of the Driscoll murders. She was insistent. Once I felt she wasn't trying to pull a hoax or getting off on the idea of talking about a murder, I agreed to the meeting. She stated it had been mailed to her, in the same envelope she showed to me when we met for lunch. Interviewer: can you describe this contents? Old newspaper clippings outlining the progress of the investigation. They seemed appropriately yellowed, so I guessed that they were from a trophy book of the perpetrator. There were also 6 photos alleged to be from the individual members of the Driscoll family, as well as several other photos of the facility where they had been taken. My hands won't stop shaking, see. I'm trying as hard as I can, and I can't make it happen. I'll have to ask the paramedic for a sedative when I'm done with the statement. I don't think I'll be able to sleep otherwise. No, I'm fine for now. I don't want anything to interfere with my recollection of the recording. Just carrying it around in my head is like, sorry, I'll stay focused. The photos were the Driscoll family, of course. At the time, I didn't know that. The photos have aged poorly, and they could have been of anyone. It was very hard to distinguish features. However, given the elaborate nature of the file, I figured it warranted a further look. As to the confession letter, well, it was brief. It gave an address. That's the first thing I noticed. I couldn't locate the address online, which meant it had to be old. The confession letter said, "Stop printing lies. I've never killed anyone. It just took a while to get them ready for breakfast." There was no signature included. I just remembered something. God damn it. We got sent the breakfast menu a month after the disappearance. Someone had drawn a red circle around the picture of the pancakes. The letter said, "They're not dead. They're getting ready for breakfast." We put it in the junk lead file. Oh God. Interviewer. Detective Milgate, do you need a moment? I'll have to ask a paramedic for a sedative when I'm done with the statement. Can you make sure they're ready for one? This is going to be rough. We did try to track down the menu. We could never find out where it had been from, where it had come from. It wasn't any place local. The identifying information had been cut off. Interviewer: why did you decide to personally investigate the location mentioned in the letter? I wanted to make sure it wasn't a hoax. I still wasn't convinced. I've had 20 years of people sending me fake evidence. I guess maybe the case captured my imagination too. I've always imagined one day I'd think of something I'd overlooked in the case the whole time, and solve the whole thing. Felt unbelievable to have someone dump the whole thing in my lap. I needed to see with my own eyes. Miss Bulmer had pinpointed the location with city records, but neither of us were sure if it was still there. It was an abandoned industrial building. The last time it had a valid mailing address was 50 years ago. It might have caved in for all we know. I think I also wanted to be the one to crack it. Whether or not it was dumped on my lap, the case was hung over my head for 20 years. Miss Bulmer and I agreed to meet there the following morning. Interviewer: can you describe the crime scene? Yes. It was an industrial building, as I stated, approximately 120 feet long and maybe 45 feet wide. It was a wooden structure and at first condition seemed to match the neighboring buildings. However, I noticed the facade. I noticed the facade had been recently patched in a few locations. Further investigation also revealed that the entrance had been chained and locked. My understanding was that it used to be a sheet metal shop. At least. Excuse me. Is there a bucket? I might vomit. Thank you. Sorry. I thought it was empty. No. I want to get this done. Then I'm going to want a sedative. I could smell something inside the building. Very faintly. I figured that it will count as probable cause. Not that I need it as a civilian, but you never forget the way a corpse smells. They were bad enough. They had the same smell. I hadn't forgotten how to pick a lock, so I let myself in. You know, I really wish they had been corpses. I really do wish they had been a serial killer. I really do. Do you believe me? Please say you believe me. Interviewer. I do. Can you describe the interior of the building? I'm trying to focus through this. I really am. I'm sorry. It's just that I'd like to go to sleep after this for a very long time. Is the paramedic here? Is the sedative ready? Thank God. The warehouse had not been abandoned, as we had previously led to believe. The interior had a hallway with 6 rooms. The construction was old, very visibly new. The construction was old, but visibly newer than the rest of the building. The walls between each room had been soundproofed. There were no windows to the outside. There were no windows to the outside or doorways between the rooms themselves. The only access was through the hallway. I tried to make Miss Balmer leave at this point. The smell was stronger inside. The rooms contained presses, hydraulic presses, 4-foot by 8-foot custom presses. I couldn't figure out what they were at first, because they were hovering over what looked like a hospital bed. There were IV bags in each of the rooms, as well as other medical equipment. That's how he kept them alive for so long. Of course. I think I might be seeing black spots. Interviewer. Do you need to take a break? The idea of having to start this again is worse than the idea of finishing it. Interviewer. Then please describe the next course of action. The building was obviously an active crime scene. I had no doubt about that. I was in the lair of what I believed to be the serial killer. I tried to tell Miss Balmer to leave several times. She refused on the grounds that it would not be right to leave me on my own. There wasn't much time to make an issue out of it. My opinion of her was that she was a bit too nosy, but basically all right, and I didn't think she'd be a liability if she stayed out of my way. I had to make the judgment call as to whether or not I should proceed on my own in the case. The family was somehow and possibly still alive and perhaps in danger, or if I should leave and call for backup. I had told my wife where I was going previously, so I knew my absence would be noted and reported if the worst happened. Neither of us could get the cell phone reception. Sorry, I'm rambling. It was then I heard. Not even a gasp. It was like a gasp, but not really. I don't want to describe it any more than that. It was a sound. It drew my attention further on. I had to act. That's all that matters. There were some stairs and the very far end of the warehouse descending into the basement. I told Miss Balmer to remain behind and pulled my service revolver. I had a flashlight on my person as well, and turned it on and descended into the basement. The basement had been hand dug, maybe even over the course of the entire 20-year disappearance. I don't know. The floor was dirt, and there was a tunnel that retreated back far enough that it had been supported to struts at regular intervals. With my flashlight first illuminated the stack, I wish they were dead. I wish they had been a serial killer. Interviewer, please take a moment. After I recovered, my first thought was, thank God they were all dead. Oh, what's this going on in my chat here? Here, there we go. Don't want questionable images here. This is don't want my stream getting in trouble. In fact, Amber, just in case, I'm setting you as moderator. Okay, where were we? Okay, I wish they'd been dead. I wish there's been a serial killer. Interviewer, please take a moment. After I recovered, my first thought was, thank God they're all dead. How am I supposed to go on with my life after this? I'm 64 years old, for Christ's sake. I'm not a young man who can forget things anymore. When you're young, you have a sense that you're invincible and that you're never going to die. I don't have to protect me anymore. I don't have that to protect me anymore. Look at me, whining. When they had that done to them, it's my fault. I should have found them, saved them somehow. Interviewer, I'm sorry, Hob. I've got to ask. Can you describe the scene? Yeah. I can. I didn't know what I was looking at first. Hell, I still don't. It was a stack, maybe 2 feet thick. From the stinking coloring, it was obviously made of flesh. I thought maybe he hacked them up and stacked them into pieces. That would have been bad enough. The first thing that alerted me to the truth was the eyeball. On top of the stack was a perfectly round eyeball in the middle of a socket that had been distorted to the size of a saucer. That's when I realized what I was looking at. What I was looking at was 20 goddamn years of torture, basically. He had the entire Driscoll family under those presses for 20 years, keeping them alive on IV drips, increasing the presses on them so very slowly that their bodies had time to adapt until they have been flattened like pancakes. He squished them by about 1/4 of an inch every year for 20 years. Then he pulled them out, and they were too broken and wretched to move, without any chance to recover, and stacked them on top of each other. I've got no idea what for. I don't want to know. And I was still thinking, thank God they're all dead, when the one on top started gasping again. Interviewer, what did they say? Nothing at first. I couldn't speak without help. I think it would have been Avery Driscoll. Not that I could tell much about the gender or the age, but the hair was blonde where there was hair. The head was a mass of scars. I think the son of a dog was who did this must have removed parts of their skulls. They've got no idea how I've got no idea how they got their heads so flat. Otherwise, not as flat as the rest of their bodies, but flat. Who in the hell knows how their brains handled that? Their lips were punctured or puckered up by teeth everywhere. After the presses had flattened out their noses, I guess. Avery was 14 when he disappeared. I've stopped shaking. Goddamn weird the way their bodies worked, isn't it? What else? There was a machine, a sort of pump. I followed the hose with my flashlight, and I realized everyone in the stack was hooked up to the pump. I don't think they could breathe on their own. You see, not after a while. There simply wasn't enough volume in their lungs to inflate. There was some sort of opening cut right on each of their chest. There was a switch in the pump. I don't know why I pressed it. I was in a panic. I wanted to do something. Maybe some stupid part of me thought that if I switched it, that they would inflate and be okay. I switched it. It increased the volume of the air to the topmost hose. I could hear the pump working harder, which is when Avery Driscoll started to scream. He begged me to kill him. He said other things too. I didn't make much sense. He was in pain, and I would hope he had gone insane several years. And I would hope he had gone insane several years previously. Interviewer. Oh my God. My thoughts exactly. I didn't know what to do. He wouldn't stop screaming. I believe he was convinced I was a torturer. A closer look at the eyes revealed that it was almost a mass of white scar tissue. He was blind as a bat. You know, I spoke with some burn victims. They told me that they managed to find meaning and purpose after a while. I don't know how anyone in the Driscoll family could have done that. I stated my name. I told him I was a detective. I told him I was there to help. I repeated it over and over again, knowing, of course, that there was nothing that anyone, anywhere, could do to help. Miss Balmer arrived, drawn by the sound. Before she saw the stack, she told me that I had screamed that she'd come to help, but I do not remember having done so. Nevertheless, she arrived. Then she saw the stack and screamed, and I was intent on Avery Driscoll. He was able to hear. He became lucid for a few moments. It was a strain to understand what he said, but I will never be able to forget it. Please kill me. It hurts. I don't want to be a monster. Please kill me and tell my family I died a long time ago. I don't know if they're still looking for me. Don't let them know what happened to me. Please kill me. He could still cry. If he could still cry, he did, although his tear ducts were too deformed for it to be noticeable. I should have focused on Miss Balmer. I should have forced Miss Balmer to leave. That is the only action in the matter of which I regret more than failing to solve the case 20 years ago. Not just for her own sake, but for what she did next. I don't think she could have wounded them any more deeply than she tried. She took away the last comfort away from them in the stack had. You see, they had not been able to speak to one another for 20 years. She said, "That's all of them, isn't it? That's the entire Driscoll family? They're all alive in there, the whole family." For 20 years, each member of the Driscoll family had been unaware their fellow inmates were the other members of their family. They've all been holding out hope that their family was okay. All been dreaming someday that their loved ones, that someone out there loved them and would free their suffering. And that was free from their suffering. Do you know what the screams of 6 people tortured over 2 decades, smashed down to the whiff of 4 inches sounds, like when they all stacked on top of each other? It sounds like the gates of hell swinging open. Interviewer. I think that is enough, Detective Milgate. Not yet. I shot them. Mercy is hard, but I owe it to them. I am the one who failed to save them. It only took one bullet to go. It only took one bullet to go all the way through. I emptied my revolver. I emptied my revolver though, to make sure they didn't linger, to give them their final piece. It was the only kindness I had to give them. We left and called for backup after that. Neither Miss Bulmer nor I wished to remain with the bodies. I elected not to follow the crime scene investigators back to the basement. I asked if I could make a statement and leave, and after one, I asked to leave a statement and leave, and after one of them saw what I had seen, they agreed. May I have the sedative now? Interviewer. Yes. Yes, of course. Thank you. Please show the paramedic. I'll roll up my sleeve. My wife has diabetes, so I'm well aware of the routine. Oh, and please make sure you have the same courtesy available to Miss Balmer. She seemed to have it worse than me after. Poor woman couldn't even throw up or cry. Interviewer. Of course. Do you know where she is now? She told me the lead. She told the lead at the crime scene she was going home, but we wouldn't be able to reach her. Did you try the paper? Which paper? The Daily World. Interviewer. Are you sure? There's no Stacy Ballmer on staff at the Daily World. The end. Well, anybody? Yep, just like Amber said, is anybody hungry for banana pancakes? So I take it perhaps Stacy Ballmer was the killer? Although that's so weird. Why would you do that? I mean, the motives are just... I can't even figure out the motive for that. But yeah. 6 people flattened to pancakes stacked on top of each other, suffering for 20 years. Not where I thought where the story was going. I thought it had something to do with legitimate pancakes. Like earlier in the story when they're saying like, they were just late for breakfast. They were late for breakfast. I thought there was somebody was trying to make pancakes for breakfast and the gas in the oven was turned on and something happened in the house. I don't know. Weird. Now let's see the comments. 8 out of 10. It was fairly unique. I appreciated how the descriptions work. It's especially horrifying to think that this torture went on for decades. I'd want to die too. It's not often you wish people were dead. 8 out of 10, and we got 10 out of 10. That's a bit long to read. So, yep. Everybody that commented seemed to like it a lot. I hope you guys liked it. It was sufficiently creepy, I think. Yes, they were getting ready for breakfast. But the person said, I didn't kill them. They were late for breakfast. So, was the killer making them breakfast? And they were late and then decided to just do this to them? Or what? Or am I just kind of putting too much meaning into the phrase, they were late for breakfast? So, yeah. I think that is a great story to end the stream on. Thank you guys for showing up. Thank you for all the birthday wishes. Can't wait to play this game with you all. It's going to be awesome. And you all have a good night. I got work tomorrow. I didn't finish my coffee, which is probably the smarter thing to do. And I hope you guys are eventually able to eat bananas and pancakes in the near future. They were making them breakfast. I get what you're saying. They were making them breakfast. But there's something about them being late. Wait, didn't it say they were late for breakfast? Late. See. Wait, I'm trying to find that we got some. They're not dead. They're getting. Oh, okay, I got it. They're not dead. They're getting ready for breakfast. That's still that. Now knowing the ending, that line is way more horrifying. My goodness. Wow. That is horrific. Yeah, I'll be fine. I'll eat a banana right now. No, Amber, don't. It's Mr. Banana. Okay, well, like I said, I'm going to call it a night. Thank you all for showing up. If you're watching this on replay, hope you enjoyed the stories. I might make this a regular thing. I will discuss it with everybody in the crew on the Discord, see what everybody thinks. If I do make this a regular like Wednesday thing, or maybe every other Wednesday, maybe I'll just keep it like, I'll just search random stories on creepypasta. This was actually really fun. But we'll see. This channel could really go anywhere. It's still pretty young. And it's still a very small channel, so we can do anything we want. Anyway, Amber, I'm looking forward to you being an excellent mod. I should have made you a mod a long time ago, now that I think about it. So, you all have a good night. Thank you, and I will see you all next time. Later.